Hello everybody, welcome back to Surfback Collectibles. My name is Mark, and today we're going to have a brief discussion on the current state of the Pokemon market. Now, I'm sure by now all you guys have seen the evening news. Hordes of people racing into Costco and Target every time there's a Pokemon restock, tearing the shelves down, grabbing as much as they can, going to the register, racing home, and trying to flip it online for a profit. This sounds just like 2020, 2021 during the COVID era boom, during that big bubble of collectibles. Now, during that period of time, that was a bubble. And this is a question we begin to ask from a lot of our clients as to when is this bubble going to burst? This 2024-25 bubble, this seems like the same as 2020, 2021. But let's take a look at this because I don't really think it is. In 2020, 2021, you really did have a bubble in collectibles. You had an artificial demand created, and that's kind of what you need to have created in order to have a bubble situation. You have to have artificial demand. Now, however that demand is created, that changes from bubble to bubble. But during the COVID era boom, that artificial demand was created by people being locked at home. You couldn't go to work. I think there's a moratorium on paying rent, paying your mortgage. So people had all that extra money. The government was giving out all the stimulus, all these loans, PPP loans, loan forgiveness. The borrowing rates were incredibly cheap. You could borrow money, and people were just leveraging up. They were buying all these collectibles, trying to flip them online for a profit, and it worked for a lot of people for about 12 to 18 months. Of course, we also what happened after that, the market did correct. There was a bear market for about 12 to 18 months as well. So that was a situation where artificial demand was created because you were changing the market entirely. Like I said, people were locked at home, giving them free money, cheap money to borrow. Government was giving loan forgiveness. So everybody had money, everybody had time, and they didn't really have to spend their money on anything else. That is incredibly artificial. This is similar to the dot-com era. I don't know, a lot of you guys may not remember this, back in the late 90s, where you had the dot-com boom. Once again, artificial demand was created for those dot-com stocks by a lot of analysts giving, let's say, aggressive forecast on earnings. And some of those analysts were just falsifying information to get people to buy the stocks. So during that time, there was this false demand created. Everybody thought these dot-com companies were just going to blow up and be insanely profitable. And like I said, there were some analysts kind of fudging the forecast, and some of them were just blatantly lying to investors. So it did create this false demand for those stocks. And once again, we saw that crash afterwards. So anytime there's kind of a false demand created, that's when you have a bubble. This market right now, during the 2024-25 market, and this video is being filmed at February 2025, so this is the beginning of 2025. So this market right here that we're in now, this feels more like organic demand growth. This feels like more of like a bull market than it does a bubble. So right now what we have is a situation where the market was just depressed for about 18 months. Nobody wanted Pokemon. You couldn't give it away. I mean, distribution had boxes for months. You could buy SVO 1, 2, and 3 for 6, 7, 8 months. You could buy as much as you wanted, probably even a year. I remember they were giving great discounts buying these boxes. At a certain point, SVO 1 was down to, I think, $80 a box. Incredibly cheap. Nobody wanted it. And then things started to turn. Just like any kind of bull market, once all the weak hands kind of flush out, they're done, they kind of quit, they list all their stuff, they kind of cut and run. When all the weak hands are done, that's when you start seeing the organic growth. And I think that's what we saw because this bull market didn't just take off. This was definitely a slow growth. And once it developed momentum and actually people started paying attention, then we started seeing the hype again. People starting to, get back into it. People starting to realize they could flip things. There was a lot of retail arbitrage opportunity. People can go to retail stores, buy these boxes, flip them online. So we started seeing that again. And as that builds, once again, you kind of start raising the market incredibly fast. But once again, I think this is more of a organic growth, like high demand. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's incredibly high demand right now, and supply is not meeting that. But just like during the COVID boom, what happens is Pokemon, the company, is definitely going to reprint. They've already said they're going to reprint Prismatic Evolutions, Surging Sparks, the Twilight Masquerade. All these sets are going to be reprinted. Now, what does that mean for the market? Long term, probably not much. Don't forget, Sword and Shield Evolving Skies, that set had like 5 or 6 reprints, and it's still one of the most expensive sets from the past 5 years. XY Evolutions had 5 or 6 reprints. I remember every time they reprinted it, demand would drop, distribution would call, asking us to take pallets of this. Once again, over time, reappreciates, everybody wants it. But during the time when it was reprinted, the prices do drop. We're going to see the same thing with Prismatic, Surging Sparks, all these sets they're reprinting. We're going to see the price come down depending upon the size of the reprint. And eventually they will reach an equilibrium because, For Pokemon, they really don't want to see people fighting in stores for their product. Anytime they see that, they crank up the supply of all these products. So you expect to see a lot more product coming to market, and it will slowly start suppressing the price. And that's kind of a normal, healthy growth for a market. You don't want to see these parabolic moves because that's not good for anybody. Because you're going to have a lot of people buying at the top of that market, and then as things reprice and start dropping, they're going to feel like they lose money. They're going to try to race to the bottom, sell everything at a discount, get out. Once again, it flushes out of the weak hands. 12 to 18 months later, we're going to have another bull run. That's kind of how these markets work. They are very cyclical. Pokemon is known for cyclical markets. There's always a bull run. There's always this huge crash, this bear crash, another bull run. So it's going to go forever. And I think that's what we're seeing now. But like I said, you will have a supply increase from Pokemon itself. They're going to start reprinting these sets, and they're probably going to reprint them a few times in order to kind of squash the demand. Like I said, they do not want to see people fighting in the stores. This is at its core a child's game, a game for children or young adults. This wasn't really meant to be this asset class for people to invest in. It has become that over the years. You know, a lot of adult collectors realize there's potential in this, and there's great potential in sealed Pokemon product. And sealed product is kind of what we're talking about today. The single cards, that market fluctuates greatly. It depends on the card, depends on the set, really depends on the demand of that particular time period for that particular card. What we're talking about today is mostly the sealed product. Now, I don't think there's a set in existence of Pokemon that is trading today at or below its original list price. You can go back to the 90s. I don't think you'll ever find a sealed Pokemon set trading at or below its original price. If you do, definitely leave me a comment in the section below, because I'd love to know about it. I'd buy all there is. But like I said, it has become an asset class for adult collectors to pick up and hold. And long term, it definitely has proven itself. Long term, these boxes do appreciate if you keep them sealed. But because of that, like I said, you are going to have swings in the market. When there's a hype, everybody's going to race in. You're going to get a lot of speculators pushing the price up. A lot of these long-term collectors, they are going to be squeezed. Supply is going to be contracted for a while until Pokemon starts reprinting. And that's a great time, if you are an investor or a collector, to start building a position in that, because once they're done reprinting, that's it, Then you start seeing the reappreciation. But like I said, I really don't think today's market is a bubble. It's definitely a strong bull run. And there will be a topping point to where it starts retracing a little bit in price. And once you see that price retracement, a lot of speculators are going to leave. A lot of these people that just raced in for the quick money, they're going to leave the market, and the market is going to stabilize a little bit better for the long-term investor. So to get back to the original question that we get from all our clients right now, when will the Pokemon bubble burst? I really don't think there is a bubble to burst. There will be a slowdown in demand. Like I said, once Pokemon actually starts printing supply to catch up with the current demand, you will see a slowdown in price, slowdown in hype, slowdown in demand. But that's not going to crush the market. It'll bring prices down. Like I said, for long-term collectors, it's still a great opportunity to be in this market. So when's the bubble going to burst? Probably never, because it's not a bubble. Like I said, there will be retracement though. So when there is, definitely pick up for long-term collection. So I hope that helps. Like I said, I just wanted to share this with you guys because we're getting a lot of questions about this Pokemon bubble, which I think is really just a really strong bull run. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you again next time.